Hey everyone, David here from the Five and Dime Upcycled Furniture Antiques and Accents, and I'm also a member of the Roycycled Treasures creative team. So join me as I show you how I flip this little vintage parlor table from this dark, dingy, not so great looking piece into a beautiful little accent piece for any home. For the top of this table, I'm using the Roycycled Treasures Floral Burlap Decoupage paper, and before applying it, I want to make sure I get all the creases and wrinkles out, so I'm just misting it finely, and then using the iron on a medium-low setting just to iron out any of the creases. And that will just help to make sure that I get as smooth as possible finish. I'm using Posh Chalk's Infuser as my medium to apply the decoupage paper to the top of this table. And what I've done is I came in and give it a nice coat, not too thick, not too thin, and apply that in with a brush. You want to ensure that the full surface is coated or you'll end up with air bubbles underneath. I continued using the same process down the whole table to ensure the top was firmly in place. Here you'll notice I'm trying to fix a little fluff up, and what had happened here was that I'd actually applied too much of the decoupage medium, and when I was moving the paper in place using the saran wrap, I actually tore the paper, so I had to put a little fix in this. So that fix will come up later on, so I continue to finish the process here, and then it was time to come in and let it dry, add a second coat on top. And I had a bit of a challenge, so I actually used the iron method when it was dry to just make sure everything was pressed down in place well. Medium-low heat and parchment paper, and it worked divine to make sure I had a really smooth top. I loved how this turned out. Using a medium grit sandpaper, I came in and just sanded down the edges to remove any excess that was on there as well. And here's where I'm coming in and doing that little bit of patchwork. The bottom edge was not 100% flush, and the little patch that I had to place in where I had torn the paper, I didn't want to just mush it about, so I actually removed that piece altogether and then added a patch in. You'll see how I fix it up even more after that. The top turned out pretty good and I'm really happy with it, except for that one little spot there. However, came in and gave it a seal with gator hide and did 3 coats of gator hide to ensure it was a durable, water-resistant top. And then I'll come back in. I've got a little idea for fixing up the rest of it. Now that everything is sealed, I'm using copper gilding wax by Dixie Belle Paint Company to go along the edges and just give it a little distressed look along the edges, as well as highlighting the WoodUbend down the sides of the legs, etc. And this will just create a little more depth and dimension in the piece. You can see here how the copper gilding wax just helps to really define that leg detail that I added with the WoodUbend. Now for the fix of the fluff up. And it came to me that I could use the copper gilding wax, which was a beautiful blend for the top of this, and the Royal Damask stencil by Dixie Belle Paint Company. And here's the end result. I think that the Floral Burlap by Roycycled Treasures is such a beautiful complement to the Spanish moss from Dixie Belle Paint Company. I hope you enjoyed this transition, and join me at fiveanddime.ca, and don't forget to check out roycycled.com. Ciao.